It's E.B.K, E.B.K, E.B.K. It's E.B.K every day, all day to the day I die. All day it's E.B.K, E.B.K, E.B.K.
What's good, gente? You guys already been on, man. It's your boy Conejo, and I'm pretty much gonna be doing a reaction, right, to one of my boys, man, Upstate Point of View, and he pretty much has spoken on a video that what could have the Norte done different? You know what I'm saying? For the invasion or the so-called takeover when it comes to the upstaters, right? And I'm gonna be discussing that, and I'm also gonna be doing another little piece on this conversation, right, when it comes to the recruitment of the paisanos, because I feel that that's something that is not technically in every single city, town, especially not right here, at least where I'm at, right? But I do understand it can be quite different when it comes to these bigger cities, or when it comes to cities that are a little bit more urban or have a little bit of a mixture of people. You know what I mean? It's not just raza. But before I get into it, man, make sure to hit them likes. Make sure to subscribe, hit that follow, hit that notification bell, right? Just so that we don't miss out on anything that I do drop or whenever I do go live. And also drop comments to let me know what you guys think. Because I know this is going to be a topic that there's a lot of things that can be said, man. Especially if you happen to be from an area that's not just like mine or like the homie Listos. But let's get into it, right? So on that video, he did mention some things. And one of the things that kind of pointed out was like, well, how the homeboys were kind of treating the paisanos, right? Like here in my area, most of the homeboys, their dads are paisanos, so it's a little bit different, right? But there was a mistreatment and stuff like that when it came to people that were freshly coming from Mexico. If you guys if you guys pay close attention, a lot of the people, or especially the young people that come from Mexico, right? And they don't come to bang, bro. They come to actually do something good in their life, right? But don't get me wrong, there's a few that do. But the ones that would come, they clothes, and they even somewhat dress like cholos, right? But in our reality, man, a real gangbanger, like at least a real one, right? They can actually recognize that they don't bang, bro. They actually are people that don't bang, but they just happen to have that type of a style when it comes to clothes, like the bands and this little baggy clothes type of thing. And they even go as far as to even wear like LA original shirts and blue belts and stuff like that. So a lot of them were getting the business, they were getting victimized in some type of point, because there was people, man, that would kind of see them and they would be like, nah, these fools are sureños, you know, they're sureños, they got blue belts on, even though they don't say that they don't bang, because some paisas, right? In all reality, they didn't bang, but the homeboys would take it the wrong way, because they would be like, well, this fool has a blue belt, if this fool don't bang, then it is what it is, you know. But that's what like the homie was saying, that ended up pushing a lot of the paisanos towards the sureños, right? Where they kind of felt comfortable, like, hey, I can go over there and chop it up with these dudes. Like I said, here in Watson, they can go to a norteño, and more than likely the norteño's gonna be speaking fully Spanish, right? But they don't feel as comfortable to how the sureños might be in this area, right? Because let's be real, even the sureños in this area have a little different style, where the paisano might feel a little bit more welcoming, right? Where as soon as they look at them, they're like, hey, ¿qué huele? They're like, oh, okay, that's what's up. But like when it comes to other towns, maybe like how the homie said, man, when they would see a northerner and they would try to say what's up or look at him to say Cuban, these fools would probably be like, where are you from? You know, because they weren't used to that certain style, and they kind of blend in looking like the sureños, because a lot of the sureños, they tend to dress a little bit different. But like the homie said, nowadays you can't even tell who's who. Shit, I be seeing some people and I be like, man, that fool don't bang, and next thing you notice, that's the fool jamming me up. I'm like, what the fuck? But that is something that apparently in some cities that the homeboys could have done different, right? They could have been like more willing to allow the paisanos, or just people that they didn't know in general, right, to come and kick it. Because I know that the sureños, man, you be drinking and then they see a paisano walking and he happens to have some brews, guarantee you they're gonna allow him to come post up. And more than likely, a norteño will more likely just take his pisto and try to punk him, homie, if he ain't a solid one. But in our reality, man, like I said, especially right here in Watson, we got city haulers, homie, that are fully paisad out, G, to be quite real. And there's nothing even wrong with the word, like, being paisano, homie. There's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of paisanos, bro, that are hella proud to be a paisano. And the reason why I say paisano and not paisa, bro, is because I feel that it sounds more respectful, when it comes to that. And the word paisa technically means someone that's technically from their city, homie, or their same state. You know what I mean? That says me paisa. So there's a lot of things that people gotta really get a full understanding when it comes to these words. So what could have the norteños done different, right? So that wouldn't have happened, right? Like the whole upstate invasion. You know what I mean? People gotta understand that most of the towns and cities they already had sureños. They already had sureños. They just weren't as deep. Of course, it was a place that had majority of northerners. So they weren't as deep, but they were there, man. I feel like that they always had some type of present, especially because a lot of people were migrating and moving up north from those bigger cities, right? So one thing that they could have done different in our reality, man, not set trip. You know what I mean? Not set trip. Something about the norteños, man, is that we tend to set trip. It don't matter. I know that people are gonna be like, nah, well, red on red ain't allowed. Nah, red on red happens all the time. And it doesn't matter from what town or what city. You always want to feel like that you're better than them, And I know, man, because when I was a homeboy, and don't get me wrong, man, I still got a lot of love for the Norte, in some type of way. And I had this discussion even with my boy Listo, man. But I'll talk about that later down the line. I'm not gonna get into it. But the thing is that we like to set trip, we like to show what's up, and it doesn't matter if they're norteños or not, man. This has been happening forever. So when other people that happen to show up or pop up, right away we're quick to just be like, what's up, where you from, and that's not too friendly-ish, so if there happen to be a paisano or someone like that, right away they're gonna be like, man, what the hell, and they get scared, homie. They do get scared, let's be quite real. So they end up talking with other paisanos and they end up being like, hey, de este vato acá son culeros, so I feel like, yeah, that did help out a lot when it comes to the sureños, because let's be quite real, man. When you're having these conversations, even as a young kid, man, because to be quite honest, man, my dad has affiliation with the South. He does have affiliation with the South. I'll put that out there, right? So in all reality, man, I would hear my dad have these conversations when I was young, man, and talk about how pretty much homeboys, even from my hood, would set trip on them when you know what I'm saying. So you tend to hear stuff like this, and you grew up like, what, chales, f these fools, you know what I mean? And I know you guys are gonna be like, well, what happened with you, Conejo? In all reality, man, this is gonna have to be a deeper conversation, especially because I'll just keep it short. Half of my family happens to be norteños, and only a few happen to be southerners, bro. So, and we happen to be in a town where a majority of them were happen to be northerners. So it is what it is. Ya pasó. So no te agüites. So pretty much, those were things that they could have done different, man. Not really be set tripping, and it would have probably been a whole different ball game. But another thing that kind of like especially like in my area, people tend to get embraced or get jumped into certain neighborhoods that they grew up in, And Watsonville happens to have a few, so I don't know how other towns do it, you know what I mean? But most of the time, most of the members happen to be people that grew up in those little areas and stuff like that. So I said it before, in certain areas around my town, they happen to have sureños. So most of the time, most of the people that live around there end up either becoming part of that group, or people that come like from Mexico and stuff like that happen to live around those areas happen to become cool with certain people that are around there. And like in my area, for example, most of the times where like the sureños are located, they happen to have a lot of raza, some that cross the border. Some, I mean, don't get me wrong, they could be from everywhere, anywhere. And if they like to get down, well, they end up becoming from those hoods. So So yeah, it wasn't like, at least for my town, because I mean, I am more than likely gonna have some people in the comments like, nah, in my town, well, they were doing shit like that. At least not in for, like, I'm gonna say for, not for mine. They were not really bullying people like that. They weren't really bullying, because most of the time, especially right here, most of them, their dads are all paisanoed out. Let's be quite honest, man. Most of our pops, if we actually post a picture, or if you happen to look at it, you know what I mean? They happen to be paisanoed out, and things have changed through the years, man. Now, a lot of people are a little bit more involved with the cultura, and they want to be a little bit more Mexican out. As you guys can see, everybody's bumping corridos and stuff like that. It happened to become a little bit more popular. So, with all that being said, man, I know more than likely I happen to miss a couple of things, but I feel, why not throw my opinion in it, right? Especially because I feel like in my town, it wasn't really like that. I don't feel that the homeboys or anything like that were pretty much victimizing and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, man, there was a few fools that were actually fucking doing that. But trust and believe, they weren't getting no papas for that. You know what I mean? They weren't getting no credit for that. And even though they would always try to say like, nah, he was a sureño, because like the homie said, like that little saying, I guess, right? Me personally, I have never really said that little saying. But apparently, how the homie said that apparently a lot of the homeboys be saying that the sureños, they be throwing that little line, mi paisa, me no bang, right? I never really heard it, to be quite honest. I never really heard it over here. But if they would have said some shit like that, more than likely they would try to cover it up with, hey, bro, he was a sureño, because this is something they have used in the town right here. At least the ones that went as far as to disrespect a couple of the paisanos that live here, they would be like, oh, well, he had a blue belt, or, he dressed a certain way, because let's be real, man. A lot of the ones that cross from the, like, freshly crossed, they have a tendency to be dressing a certain way, man, and it's not a really popular code, at least not right here. Maybe in LA it's acceptable, but right here, a lot of the people, or the homeboys, I should say, they tend to set trip when they see people dressed like that. But with all that being said, man, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, man, make sure to hit a thumbs up for your boy. Make sure to subscribe, hit that follow, hit that notification bell. Make sure you hit all so you don't miss out on any video that gets dropped. And also drop comments, because I also believe that I did miss out on a couple of things. But this is something that we can actually discuss on the line or later down the line. So with all that being said, gente, thank you for your time, and gracias for all your support once again. So with all that being said, gente, this is your boy Conejo, and I'm out. I'll see you on the next one.